Making your way in the world today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You wanna be where everybody knows your name, where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna go where people know people are all the same. You wanna go where everybody knows your name.
Shebang bang.
Feels great, baby. Welcome along. This is the Shank Club NFL. I'm your boy, Nick, aka Jimmy Gill. Jimmy G. Feels great, baby. Shank Club NFL. Got a lot to get to. Let's bring in my co-host, Carl. Carl had to play that little clip courtesy of El Sleepy Floyd. It will get played again when we play at SoFi. We own those sorry ass Rams.
You do indeed. You do indeed.
What a shit show. It must be really hard being a Rams fan thinking that you're really good when you're really not. But anyway, we'll get into that. If it is your first time here, please hit that like and subscribe button. Hit your notification bell, really helps us out. As I said, I'm your boy, Nick. That is Carl. Whoops, too much finger there. I nearly poked you in the ear. That's Carl. Carl, how's your week been? Obviously, you haven't been very well. Are you on the mend?
No, I haven't. No, I'm officially on the mend now. Yeah, I do feel a damn sight better. I've done no streaming at all this week. None at all. Not even for the Patriots Touchback podcast. So we've had to, unfortunately, cancel our episode this week. But hopefully
some people would say that was a good thing. Let's be fair.
I'm only
shitting with you, obviously. You know that.
Yeah, I know that. But we played decently against the Packers with a first string quarterback. You can't exactly complain about that, apart from taking the L. but I was taking the L. But no, apart from that, yeah, just been dosing up and just trying to get better. But no, it's good to be back on the show. And yeah, I've got my book here ready for all the tallies of what's happened so far in the week.
So could you just go back? In fact, hang on. Talking of taking an L, here he is. Look,
hey.
Well, he is a big L, isn't he? As in, oh, hang on a minute. What have I done there? That's better.
Nothing. I just switched it back over.
You know,
I'm too ugly.
We try and get all these top guests in, but unfortunately, Scott keeps coming back. So we take the L so that people can be entertained.
Hey,
Scott,
I'm old faithful.
how are you? How are you, sir? Are you well?
I'm good. Yeah. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, all good, all good. Obviously, I don't know if you saw the start of the show. I had to play a little tribute to the Niners kicking the Rams' arse. Unfortunately, I didn't have one at Levi, so I had to play the old SoFi South, where everybody knows your name, because it is Levi South, obviously. Another good win. Just obviously, Carl, we're going to touch on obviously what's going on in New England. Good win for you boys as well last week. So you got to be happy you're back on track after the previous week.
Yep. Yeah. No, it was a great performance. When the Chiefs play like they played on Sunday Night Football against the Buccaneers, there's nobody who's beating them. The defense was solid. The offense was just moving the chains. I think the only time they had drives stall out was when they dropped a pass on third or fourth down. That was really the only thing that got the offense off the field, was some minor mistakes there with drops on a third down and a fourth down. Patrick Mahomes looked like he was in elite air again. I don't know what that Colts loss was. I was watching that Monday night game against the Broncos, and I was just thinking, after watching the Chiefs play the Buccaneers and just absolutely shredded the number one scoring defense in the NFL, thinking, what in the fuck was that last week, man? Hopefully they got that. Maybe that was a little bit of a wake-up call. I never say a loss is a good loss, because a loss to a team like that, when you get to the end of the season and you're trying to get home field advantage and playoff seeding, can bite you. But
you see, now I totally get that, right? Because although I haven't seen the game, I've seen all the stories about how bad the Broncos were on TNF, and I know Carl's going to touch on that. And you think, how the fuck did this Niners team tank? And I think it is Russell Wilson. For 2 games a year, doesn't matter when it is, who he plays for, when the Niners are on that schedule, he somehow finds something somewhere to be relatively good. And that really kind of just 49er fans that watched it, I could see it all on Twitter. How the fuck did we lose to these? Because that was abject. It was awful.
Yeah, the Broncos sucked. That was Jimmy G's first game starting after Lance got hurt. Was that week 2?
Correct.
Yeah. So you got Jimmy G trying to get back in the flow of things, and defensive battle, weird things. This is another low-scoring game. Those are always coin flips when you got 2 defenses playing the way those defenses. And that's the funny thing, is the Broncos' defense has been really good this year. But Russ Wilson, and I've said it all off season on my other show on Chiefs Kingdom Live. Everybody talked about this was going to be the murderer's row division with the Raiders, and now the Broncos have Russell Wilson and I never believed in the Raiders or the Broncos going into the season. I watched Russell Wilson last year, especially after he came back from the injury, look old and slow. And you look at, he doesn't have anybody on the team nearly the quality of receiver or weapon is DK Metcalf or a Tyler Lockett. So
no, he hasn't definitely got those weapons.
Or the Raiders nonsense, but yeah.
Yeah, well, the Raiders are going to Raider, right? They're always going to do that. So yeah, I was going to watch the highlights, and I didn't get around to it after I saw all the shit on Twitter of really just how bad the game was. But, you know, as you know, I fucking hate Russie Wussy, the cornball. And apparently he's getting called out on being a real cornball now as well, apparently, which, wake up, NFL. He's been that shit for, I don't know, well, probably since his wife came into the fold, possibly. But yeah, he's not Let's Riding, which is hilarious to me. I just think it's fucking hilarious personally. And it's a shame because, as you say, that with that defense, with a lot of teams, if the QB play isn't up to scratch, that defense is going to get wasted. And that's half of the problem I've got at the moment with the Niners. That, you know, my thoughts on Lance and my thoughts on Jimmy G putting it aside, no one knows what Lance would have done. Well, they're not going to know now, and it's all right for people. Oh, he was going to win 13 games with this defense, and they do this and they do that. But the bottom line is, we still are in with a chance, even with Jimmy and his limitations. And he has got limitations. I'm not stupid enough to think that he doesn't. But like I said, that Broncos defense could be wasted this year if Russie Wussy doesn't pick his shit together. But it's going to be interesting. But anyway, the average Bo, and this guy, I'm going to bring these comments. I don't know I know, Carl, you would have seen Bo Selector, right?
Yeah, fucking that scared my childhood, that did.
The average Bo, I called him a few weeks ago, Bo Selector, and he Googled Bo Selector, and his comment tells you what you need to know. If you haven't seen it, Scott, seriously, just YouTube. It's out there. It is old school. Don't get me wrong, and the humour is a bit white knuckle to say the least, but it is absolutely hilarious. It's a guy in a rubber mask, and he takes off, and his Michael Jackson Bo Select is the funniest. And honestly, I still watch some of it now, and I do wet myself, and I shouldn't, because it's very near the knuckle, but it is hilarious. But anyway, so I'm glad you found it, Bo Selector, because it was and is still a really good program. Right, let's get into the show. Now, we all talked about the stuff that happened with Tua, and should he have been there, shouldn't he have been there, what's this, what's that, what's the other. Surprise, surprise, he was pulled out very, very early on in the week, and he's not playing tomorrow. And also, the NFLPA have stepped in and brought out, and basically they have approved updated protocols. So I'm just going to read this very quickly if you haven't seen it. The NFL Players Association Health and Safety Committee formally approved an update to the joint NFL-NFPA concussion protocols that is designed to protect players, closing the loophole on gross motor instability. NFL Network insider Tom Pelissero reported Friday the next step is for the NFL to sign off the final language. Our union has agreed to change the concussion protocols to protect players from returning to play in the case of any similar incidents that we saw on September the 25th. The NFLPA said in a statement, we would like these changes to go into effect before this weekend's game to immediately protect the players, and hope the NFL accepts them as well. Now, we all obviously had our say last week on it, but it's just funny that all of a sudden everyone's jumped on it and now everyone's stopping it. Now, I can't recall. I'm sure there was a player on Sunday, or it might have been Monday night. One of the games that he shouldn't have been out there, and he returned, and then he was pulled. And I can't remember the player, and I can't remember the team. But
that was Cameron Brate. That was in the Chiefs Buccaneers game. Right.
And that's right. The tight end, right?
Yeah, and I obviously saw the play happen because I was watching the game, and it didn't look like he got hit in the head to me. It looked like he got up and was kind of moving his shoulder and his neck around. Like he got hit as he was going to the ground, and he came out. He wasn't like Tua where he like stumbled and lost his footing or lost his feet. Went to the sideline, told the coach, and this is according to the team, said he was fine, he was all right, so they let him go back in. Said it hurt his shoulder and his neck. And then at halftime, I guess, told the coaching staff, the medical staff, that he was having some concussion symptoms, so they pulled him out. So again, to me, that's on the player. Like, if you go to, they say, you all right? And you say, oh, yeah, they hit me in the shoulder, and my neck's a little stiff, and you're working it out. To me, that's
I mean, there's definitely a yes, you can blame the player on that. But if we're out on a night out, all three of us, and let's say I get punched, and you both look at me, and my eyes are fucking one way or the other, and you're like, "Are you all right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine," but I'm seeing like 12 of each of you. Surely, when you look at someone who's obviously had a head trauma, you must be able, if they say, "Are you fine?" and you're like, "Yeah," they must be able to see that he obviously wasn't. Because I don't believe, I mean, I may have been concussed. I can't remember because I'm old. But if you are, or you've had it, and it's obvious you are, surely you, in your own mind, would know that you are. And there must be signs. There must be signs, whether it's slurred speech. Yeah. As I said, one eye going that way, one eye going down. I mean,
the tricky part about that is there's different levels or grades of concussions. So you can be slightly concussed, and you're not going to be stumbling, moving around. Your eyes are probably going to be looking straight ahead. I don't know. The two concussions I've had, I got knocked completely out and woke up later, and so I've never had one where you got knocked kind of silly and you were mildly or slightly.
That can be arranged. If you ever come to London, that can be arranged. Don't worry, Scott. Okay, I can arrange that for you.
So, I mean, yeah, they need to do whatever they need to do to protect these players. I get it. At the same time, what do you do when a player gets spun around by another guy in a tackle, gets spun a 360 or, something like that, and he gets up and he's lost his balance a little bit. Now he's out of the game too. I mean, I guess you err on the side of caution, but to me it seems maybe a little knee-jerk.
Yeah, I mean, you could end up with loads of players being off the field, not allowed to come back. And it might, where does it end? It starts with concussion, but then where does it end after that?
Well, and to me, like, gross motor instability is a subjective term. What does gross motor instability mean? You lost your balance. You can't stand up.
It means me normally on a.
There's a lot of gray area just with that. With that,
it's normally me after about 7 or 8 pints on a Saturday night, wandering around the streets. That's what.
7 or 8 pints. That's it. Man, you lightweight.
I'm old, right? I'm old. Remember that. My days of 10s and 12s and higher are long, long gone. Carl, what's your thoughts on these, the new protocol, and what obviously we've been talking about? Where does this injury or pulling players, where does it end? It starts with concussion, but then where does it end after that?
This is a real dark subject to get grips on here, because I think with the Tua situation, it just showed you what an organization is not capable of able to do properly in the right way. What with the Cameron Brake situation, as Scott said, it is down to the player. If he felt he was good enough to go back out there, he went back out there. But because it was a half time, goes into the locker room, and then they checked him over properly, and then they said, "No, you may have symptoms. We're not going to risk it. We're going to take you out." That is good legalization of what that team actually does to their players. So in order for that to work, it has to work across every single franchise. With regarding of the concussion protocol, though, yeah, I think if The problem is though, we don't know what is a concussion, and we don't know if it's just a knock to the head. We don't know. We don't know what's the difference nowadays. I'm probably going to say this. Okay, during each game, there's probably about between 5 and 10 players on offense, defense, and special teams that have ended up getting smacked in the head and have come back onto the field. It only gets to a serious point when they actually just take them off for a real serious one. Everyone gets knocked around. I'm pretty sure there are players in the NFL that say, "Oh yeah, I got hit on the head a few times, but you know, I still managed to get back out there because I didn't feel concussed. I felt I got smacked to the head, but I didn't feel like it hurt me in any way." So that's the grey line where we're at this moment in time. Is the concussion serious enough to take you out, or is it just a simple knock-on effect where you just shrug it off further down the line? It's going to be one of those situations now. Because now Miami, in order to cover their own arse, they've now said that Tua is definitely out for this game. Well, no shit, Sherlock. After what happened last Thursday, I don't see why he should be out there. So,
but it's like we said last week, Carl. I don't know who brought it up. It should be a minimum 10 days. Doesn't matter how severe it is. If you're out with concussion, you're out. It's 10 days. That's it. Or however long they deem.
That was my point. I mean, I think what they should do is if you get diagnosed with a concussion, you should be out the next 2 games. Just there's no if you clear protocol, if you do that, if they determine that you have suffered a concussion, you just miss the next 2 games a minimum. But again, this idea that they're going to be able to catch every player that's had a concussion without letting them go back into the game, that's just not going to happen. That's not reality.
Not when you got
guys
48 people on the sideline dressed. You're not going to catch everything, are you?
Right. No. I mean, you can get concussion without even falling to the ground and getting hit in the head. You could be on a play and you could get blocked. And
well, famously,
your head whips, and you might not even fall all the way to the ground.
Famously, Tom Compton didn't even get on the field, and he got concussion for the 49ers in the fucking locker room.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, he was shit, and that's the excuse they used to not fucking get him out there. And I think a lot of people were fucking happy with that.
With a 2-game rule, you take out the element of the team or the physicians or the player trying to rush themselves back. You're not going to play for the next 2 games.
No, and I think that's something along that lines. 10 days, 2 games. There's got to be something in place because, admittedly, are you covered by insurance? Because obviously players get paid every game they play, don't they? So,
and the 2-game thing is that helps with, like, let's say you play on Sunday, you get a concussion. Then the next week you play on Sunday. Then the following week you play on Thursday. That would be like 10 or 11 days, depending on how you want to count Sunday, or if you want to start counting Monday or Sunday. But that gives you that 10-day window where you're not going to play any more football.
Yes,
and then they'll continue to evaluate you, but it's unfortunate. But again, this idea that they're going to be able to catch every person who has a concussion and guarantee that no one's ever going to go into a football game ever again after suffering a concussion, I just don't think that's living in reality.
No.
And to hold one party responsible or say they're negligent for that, to me, that's too harsh. You're expecting perfection, or you're expecting you're expecting people or a team to do something that's impossible to do.
Yeah, definitely. Wake up, Carl. Oh no, you're looking at your phone. I thought you'd fallen asleep.
No, I'm just going through it, so don't worry. I am listening. I'm listening very clearly. So,
well, we need from last week. We need a lone wolf update because I loned wolf the most. Okay. Can you tell me how many of my lone wolves? How many times did I lone wolf, and how many actually came out?
Okay, let me just go through this here. 1, 2.
I know the sorry ass Steelers lost to the Jets Jet. So that's one I got right.
No, that was Freddie's lone wolf.
That was Freddie's lone wolf.
Freddie
I
picked
Freddie
Freddie.
Oh, sorry, sorry.
Right, so you had 5 lone wolves. You had 5 lone wolves.
Come on, I need one.
You got naught.
Oh, no. Can't believe it. I thought I'd got at least one.
I had one. Did I win my one?
What was your one, Scott? I just need to go through it. What was it?
You know, anyone would think we throw this shit together, right? We're not. We're fully prepared professionals.
Eagles?
No, that was no. I chose the Eagles.
I think Jacksonville. I'm trying to remember what game it was.
Jacksonville Eagles. No, it was me and Freddie chose the Eagles. You and Nick chose the Jags.
Right. Okay.
Random close.
That was it. Tennessee and Colts. You was the only one to choose Tennessee. So that was your lone wolf.
So I got a big. I'm gonna have to change that because I'm not having a big fat 0 this week. It's gonna change. I mean, talk very brief before we move on to this week's games. I was amazed at the Seahawks, how they've all of a sudden become a better team. Now, obviously, we talked about Russell Wilson and going to Denver, and obviously now all the like little side shows stories will come out, and that they let him go and they bit Denver's hand off because they knew this was coming, and you know Pete Carroll didn't want him around again because he knew the shit show was starting. And to be honest, when you look at what they gave up for him, and again, old Horseface hasn't hit on a QB, has he, so far? Even Russell Wilson, he can't even.
Denver has to have like the biggest case of buyer's remorse in the history of mankind. Like I can't. Not only how many draft picks did they give up, and they sent Noah Fant away, who was their leading receiver last year.
2 firsts and 2 seconds.
I mean,
Pete Carroll, Nick,
him...
I know how much you don't like Pete Carroll, the way he smacks his gum around, all that and the other. But you got to give Pete Carroll credit here because he sold the Denver Broncos a lemon.
But the thing is, with that, right?
Lemon.
The thing with that is he was ballsy in that because I honestly think it was either his job or Russell Wilson had to go in that respect, because I reckon everyone could see what was going. And you know, Russell, as much of a cornball he is, you know, the amount of times he spoke out at the fact that he didn't have a line for all those years and they weren't interested in protecting him and blah 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 and all the other shit that, you know, has come out. And you kind of think Pete Carroll saw the writing on the wall. He was happy to run with anyone but him. And they've got rookie tackles in, or rookie gut, or there's 2 rookies on that line. And Gino is, well, you saw what he did last. You know, it's mad. I can't.
Here's the thing when you get here, right? If you put the way the Seahawks offense is playing right now, they're actually one of the highest scoring offensive in the NFL. You partner that with the Denver Broncos defense, and they're probably one of the best 5 teams in the league.
Yep.
Yeah, and not only did the Broncos give up 2 first-round picks and Noah Fant, one of the better tight ends in the league, they paid him almost $250 million, and they've got their fans leaving the game as it's going to overtime. The game's not even over, and they're let's ride to the parking lot and get out of here early.
Well, yeah, it was like a fire drill. Someone had hit the fire alarm, and they were all. And yeah, as you say, I love that. Let's ride. I mean, that is the shittiest cornball motherfucking shit I've ever seen.
As someone who hates the Broncos as much, I mean, to me, this is almost better than laughing at the Raiders. I mean, you just cannot. It brings me so much joy to watch them just give away all that stuff for an old broke down Russell Wilson, and
it's really is strange. How did you think the ginger assassin did?
This guy stinks.
There you go. That's putting it lightly.
Of course, you were at the London game, Carl, weren't you? It was
yes, I was.
An enjoyable game.
Yeah,
ended with a double doink.
It did. It almost finished it off with a double doink. Yeah. No, that was the best atmosphere I've been in since 2016. Since I go to these games, this was A, the closest game, B, the most entertaining game, and what a climactic end as well to that sort of game as well. That was just
early on. The Chocotron 5000 was doing Chocotron 5000 things, and I thought, this is all set up for a mega Chocotron 5000, and then all of a sudden,
he threw the interception at the end of the first half, which I never witnessed because I was at the bar. So
that's a very good excuse, but don't worry, I saw the Chocotron choking. Don't worry, but it looked good.
Yeah.
The only thing, do you know what? The only thing that I don't like as a spectacle on the TV is that, well, it's not turf, it's AstroTurf by the looks of it, but it just looked like a shiny carpet.
It does. And it really, really
does. That's my only fault with what they've done at that stadium is amazing, and the way, the pitch comes up and everything like that. But it does, and it's like when sometimes we watch New Orleans at home, all it looks like is a green carpet, and I just don't like the look of it, and I think it spoils it. Me personally.
I understand where you're coming from. I think you're more of a natural grass. You want to see more natural grass type.
I want to see, like when they play at Wembley and it's grass, because I've played on some 4 and 5G pitches, and you get burnt to fuck. It's horrible. And it just looks awful. But it certainly was a very good advert as to why NFL games should be played outside of the US.
It's a spectacle. And I'll add this last point as well. When we watch London games here, there was always a sea of colour everywhere of everyone representing their team and that. So all 32 teams are pretty much all involved, basically. And you may get the odd 2 groups who are playing to be a little more bigger because they got the tickets for. In this case, Vikings fans outnumbered the Saints fans about 5-1.
And that's really strange because
all I saw walking down after I got off the tube at Seven Sisters, walked all the way down that main road, which was about half a mile. All I saw going all the way down was patches of purple everywhere. It was not home field advantage to the Saints. It was home field advantage to the Vikings. And you must.
And
have
it's
heard
really
that
weird
because
but the Saints fans, and you can, and no disrespect, Scott, and Carl will get what I'm saying here. When you go to an international series game, you can spot the Americans. Do you know what I mean,
yeah.
Carl?
Oh, yeah.
You can spot the Americans.
Yeah. I don't have to spot them. I only hear them. You hear them?
They love a ticket on a lanyard around their neck.
Yeah.
They love. I don't know why, but they love that.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
And all the beads and all that kind of jazz.
Yep.
Now.
Yeah.
And the little mini, especially with New Orleans fans, with the little mini umbrellas they have, don't they, in the colours and all the. And every time I've been, and New Orleans have been over, they've come out to represent. I mean, a lot of the, and that's the thing I like about the international series is you can make it a holiday, right? You find out you're coming over, and then that's it. It's a holiday that we happen to be able to go and see an American football game at. And it does surprise me every time just how many Americans come over. But yeah, you can. It's funny. They don't even have to open their mouths and you just know they're American, and it's really strange. But it's so, it's kind of like what analogy? I'll think of an analogy. Bo Selector says Vikings have always been pretty dominant in England.
They're top 10 in the as fan bases go. They are top 10 fan bases in the UK. They are the Vikings.
But I would say
the 49ers, on the other hand, are top 5. They are
but I
very
would
well
say
followed
more
over here. Very well
Vikings, as
followed.
in Vikings that raped and pillaged their way through the northeast.
I think that was more of a historical.
I think, yeah, I was going to say, I think that was more what Bo Selector was talking about. But no, it looked good. I don't know. Did you watch the game, Scott?
No, I did not watch the game, and it kind of put me in a bad mood for the whole day because I had Alvin Kamara on both my fantasy teams, and he got ruled out.
Oh no!
At about 6:30 in the fucking morning here, and so I wake up and the game's already started, and he's locked into both my lineups and got me a goose egg. So,
well,
I ended up winning one league, and then it didn't matter in the other one because I got smoked by about 40 points. I had two or three other guys who did absolutely nothing in that game. So,
well, they reckon Jameis Winston is going to be. They reckon Jameis Winston is going to be out tomorrow, and the ginger assassin who nearly pulled it off last week expected to start, and Michael Thomas is out again, and it was a weird game because being a neutral, all you want is I actually did get it right, and Scott knew as well. It was nothing to do with the actual NFL. It was to do with the raping and pillaging in the early whatever century it was. As a game and as a spectacle, normally when I watch, because I up until the pandemic, I've been to all of the games. But watching it as a neutral and watching it on TV, it really did look good. The atmosphere sounded good. People were booing when both teams were on offense, and there was defense shouts, and that's what you want, right? Even though, and it's weird because I don't know. I mean, I wasn't there, Carl. What percentage of both teams' supporters would you say were in the crowd?
Vikings
combined. No. How many?
Oh,
sorry, roughly 50%, 60%. Because obviously, everyone, when there's an international series, all the teams represent. But actual fans.
If I was, from all teams or just from the two teams that played?
No, from the two teams that were playing. Half.
I would probably say it's 65-35 Vikings.
Right. So that obviously already creates an atmosphere, which is what you want. And
it does also help as well when teams come over, because obviously you and me are on social media all the time with Twitter and that. NFL UK, they'll always find fan bases or people with podcasts on to actually try and arrange to do something. Oh, Brentford just went 1-0 up against Newcastle. Damn. Anyways, as I was saying.
Thank you. I'm about 2 seconds behind that, and I've just watched them score because that's the game I've got on in the background. So
okay.
Shut up. Thank you.
So so basically, it's not good. I've got Newcastle on my car. Anyway, when teams come together and they try and arrange for like meetups type of things, so obviously it's like what the UK 49er faithful guys are doing. Paul's doing that. They've already got a meetup planned up in Leeds. I think it's like 18th of October. I think it is, or 16th of October. And basically they'll try and arrange to get all the fan bases together, try and get like special guests on from the team and that sort of thing. And that kind of helps it in a way. The Vikings had a humongous fan base, but they had 2 to 3 pubs, or hubs as I prefer to call them, in which they actually helped the fans do that. On the actual game day, there were 2 pubs which were rammed full of Vikings fans. One was the Victoria House, and I can't remember who the other one was. But I saw earlier on when I got back home. all the atmosphere around the pubs and that. It was just a sea of purple. It was ridiculous. So when teams come over, the fan base has to help them at the same time. And that's the same thing. And the Saints, I don't think got the Saints. I didn't get the support from the team as what they might have done, which is a bit of a shame, really. There are a number of teams that are very, very, very well followed in the UK. And there are some teams which are not that followed at all. I'll put my hand up for it because the Patriots are not very well followed in the UK. We're one of the bottom 10 franchises to be represented for the UK. So, but yeah, as I said, it was an amazing, it was a good game, great atmosphere. And I took a good friend of mine who went to his first ever NFL game. He was a Browns fan. And apparently he found 10 people with Browns jerseys, which is always a joke. It's always the joke. When the Browns were unbelievably shit, the game was to try and find every person with the correct NFL jersey. And what was the last jersey to keep getting noticed? Cleveland, because they were just shit. So it was that sort of thing. But no, I'll happily go back next year. He wants to come back with me next year. I did say I want to do a Germany game at some point, but I'm probably going to hold out until New England, give up the home game to go to Germany because they have the marketing rights there. So, yeah, I think the Chiefs will be the German game next year. I'm pretty sure about that. If they put the Panthers in front of the Chiefs, and there's something fucking seriously wrong. But
yeah,
no,
I don't know. Yeah, and that would make sense for the Chiefs to do it next year because they have 9 home games with the uneven schedule, so they could still do their season and have the 8 games at home. But who's the most followed team over there? Is it the Jaguars because they've pushed them on NFL?
It is. It is. It's the Jags. They are London's team.
Right.
The Jaguars are London's team.
By the way, Carl, that goal got chalked off for Brentford, so it's still.
It just popped up on my phone, so yeah, disallowed. So happy days. That's cool. I think the second biggest following is actually the 49ers in the UK. So if I don't know what their schedule is next year. If they've got 9 games, they have got British rights, so they could give up a home game and do Tottenham, or give up a home game.
They've also got the tie-in with TalkSport with Leeds, and something the NFL rights or something. I don't know with something or other that's going.
It's marketing rights. It's marketing rights. Is what it was.
So it would make sense for them to come over.
I would have thought it would have been like a Green Bay or somebody like that, or maybe even like one of the New York teams. I don't know why.
Well, Green Bay's all this weekend.
No, I'm talking about having a lot of fans.
No, you see, the UK public do have a bit of taste, and that's why the Niners are up there. Before we get into the week 5 games, just a little interesting thing here. NFL seasons, early top 10 defensive lines. Who's number 1, do you think?
Number 1
with an overall score. Yeah, line. This is only the line with an overall score of 95. Who do you think that could be? Stop Googling it, Carl.
I'm not Googling it.
Well, I'm going to guess.
Any ideas?
I'm guessing it's 49ers because you're.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
That's it.
Of course.
That's
Buffalo Bills.
Played the Chiefs yet? That's all. Just wait till week 6. It'll be a little bit. It'll be dead.
Yeah. Patrick Mahomes is going to be talking out of his earpiece. Trust me. If they don't get held, that's what
the Buccaneers said too, and they got.
I will be on choke watch because we all know that your offensive line do love to choke Nick Bosa. Number 2, Buffalo Bills.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone want to guess what number 3? Number 3 is quite interesting. Any ideas?
Jets?
Number 3? No.
Basically, Dolphins?
No. 49ers. Oh, a new person in the chat. 49er girl. 49ers won't be next year as they will only have 8 home games. So I'm going to have to wait another year.
Okay, fair enough. That's fine. That's fine. So do we have to wait 2024 then?
Indeed. Any guess, Scott? Want to guess? Number 3?
Chiefs. I'm gonna guess Chiefs.
No. Titans, believe it or not.
Yeah.
4 is the Chargers. 5.
Actually,
We
stop right there. Actually, the Chargers actually have a better following in the UK. What they have over in the States. That's
not hard.
Weird.
That's
just
not
weird.
difficult, right?
That's weird.
Not difficult.
What they got 35 fans in the UK. I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
There was a lot of Chargers fans. There were quite a few Chargers fans in there, old school ones as well. That were the real old San Diego jerseys.
We have a good fan tool in soccer over here when a team comes and doesn't bring many supporters. Did you come in a taxi? And that's what they do when they go to SoFi when the Chargers are home. They just go in a fucking taxi because no fucker wants to watch them. This is interesting. Ranked 5th, Washington Commanders. They've actually made a top 5 of something. That's incredible. Jacksonville 6, Eagles 7, Cowgirls 8, Jets 9, and the Bungles 10. And that's as far as I'm going. What else is there to talk about before we get in? 3 things to watch in the Giants Packers game in London. I would say it will be the scrutiny of Aaron Rodgers and how many times you look at him on the sideline like he's chewing a lemon. That to me would be top 1. But Saquon Barkley's got to have a big game, take some pressure off of Danny Dimes. Will he do it again? I mean, to be honest, I don't know. And the last few years, Green Bay have been really awful against the run. And that's quite a key thing because, to me, if they're going to win, they need, the defense obviously needs to play well, but this isn't the Green Bay of a few years ago offensively. Defensively, are they still going to do it? So the stadium will look nice anyway. So that's something nice to look at. So at least there'll be something that people can look at again and see it. And that's, of course, if anyone's up that isn't not in their fan base. Because I guess, Scott, you'll be up early watching it, obviously. Not.
No.
And I don't blame you. But it's nice here to get 3 games in. So 2:30, 6, and then obviously the Niners are 9:05, I think, in the evening. So I will get 3 games. So that's nice as a British fan because there's no way I can do a 6 o'clock, a 9:05, and then Sunday night football. I'd be knackered. I'd be dead. Some people would say that wouldn't be a bad thing, but it is what it is. Right, week 5, and I am determined to get a lone wolf that actually works this week. I'm going to get something somewhere. So here we go. Let's start in London, 2:30 p.m. kickoff. Giants, Packers. Carl, choose.
Yeah, I'm taking Green Bay for this one. As much as I'd like to say that the New York Giants have turned the corner, their record is so deceiving. I mean, the Giants' victories so far have been against bottom feeders. They haven't really gone up against anyone of any sort of high caliber opponent yet. This is their best one so far. And even though Green Bay have an issue with their receiving position at this moment in time, they've got a 1-2 punch at running back with AJ Dillon and Aaron Jones. I think they'll have enough to get done. I think their defense is better than the Giants. So I'm going to edge it. I'm going to edge it to the Packers.
Thing is, you say their record is deceiving, and yeah, when you actually dive into it, it is. But they're 3-1. When was the last time a Giants team was 3-1? Probably when Lawrence Taylor and Phil Simms were fucking playing. That's how shit they
the last time they had an over 500 record, that was back in 2013.
Your Acker's on all right. Newcastle have just scored.
Hasn't come through yet. Anyway.
I'm watching it. He's just scored. But yeah, Scott, what do you reckon?
This is a little bit. I don't know. The Packers are a little bit funny to me. They're still trying to figure things out. I mean, they needed overtime to beat the Patriots, who had a fan contestant winner at quarterback. It looked like last week. I mean, I don't know who the fuck the quarterback was after Warrior got hurt. Did they just pick somebody out of the crowd to come play? I don't. And they needed overtime. Their offense is kind of wonky at times. They kind of struggle to score points. Their receiving core is really young. They do have Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon are good running backs. But the Giants, if they could run the ball and maybe play some defense, they got more of a chance than probably most people would think. But I've still got to go with Aaron Rodgers over Mac Jones over fuck's the guy's name? Quarterback for the Giants.
Danny Dimes.
Yeah,
well, he ain't playing. He ain't playing in this game.
Oh, well,
is he not?
Then, yeah. Green Bay win by 20 points then.
It didn't come up when I looked at it. It said he's off the injury report.
But did he travel?
Daniel Jones is his name.
If he travelled, then there's a good chance he could play.
Let me see what it says. Daniel Jones off injury report, expected to start versus the Packers in London.
Okay. All right.
Okay, well, it'll be maybe a little bit closer, but still, I don't. I'm going to pick the Packers. Don't do it, Nick. This ain't going to be the one to win on it.
It's not going to be the one. Oh God.
No, I was just clearing my throat. That was all for when I do.
So you're taking Green Bay. You're taking Green Bay then.
Do you know what? I don't know. I'm a bit like Scott. I'm a bit up and down. If Giants can get the running game going and kind of sort of protect Daniel Jones and his inefficiencies, a bit like the Niners run game that sometimes works with Jimmy Garoppolo. I really want to pick the Giants, and I don't want to be wrong, but I've got to go. I am going with the Packers. I can't see Barkley carrying this team and the defense stepping it up. I can't see it. Right. Now, talking about one funky QB, Mitchell Trubisky got benched at halftime. Kenny Pickett, I think you can call him Kenny Pick 660 or something. I don't know because
No. You can't call him Kenny Pick 6 just yet. He may have thrown in 3 interceptions, but he hasn't thrown a pick 6 yet.
I'm sorry, and
it's coming.
Now, apart from the fact I know Freddie's not on the show because he must be at the Plymouth soccer game.
He is,
but he said that he was going to give up everything if they lost to the Jets, and they got. Which is hilarious, right? Anybody honestly picking the Steelers against the Bills?
I know.
I reckon it's going to be.
I know we fell into this trap last season because obviously the Steelers played the Bills in week 1. The Bills were overriding favourites to smash the Steelers. Steelers ended up winning by 7 points, but that was when they had TJ Watt.
Yeah, it's not happening. It's not happening.
When TJ Watt's on the field, they win games. But when he's off the field, they've lost every single one he's not on the field. And Plymouth just scored, by the way.
Good day. Well done, Freddie, if you're watching. And the Steelers are fucking shocking, by the way. There's nobody can pick the Steelers in this. No one. I bet they're even plus 10 or something in this game on the odds.
I don't know what their spread is. Let me have a look on Sky.
You know what I find hilarious about the Steelers quarterback situation? They just really needed to get those 4 games of sitting behind Mitchell Trubisky to get Kenny Pickett ready for his NFL career. I mean, you wouldn't want to rush the guy in too early and break his. Those 3.5 games that he sat on the bench, that made all the difference in the world. Give me a break. Why didn't you just start the guy to begin the season? That to me is just so stupid.
The thing is that always amazes me, right, with these QB switches where a team, Carson Wentz, Cam Newton, who's the other one I was trying to think? They honestly believe, Russell Wilson, they really, the top brass really believe that bringing in this bum QB is going to mask everything and cover everything up. And I reckon the Steelers have gone, we got faith in you, Tomlin. If you have a losing season, fuck it. Let's ride with the rookie and just take the rough with the smooth. TJ Watt comes back. I don't know when he's due back, but let's say he comes back week 8. You've still got 8 weeks to go. We still could end up even or maybe sneak it one way or the other. Because they couldn't.
Yeah, if you didn't think the guy was ready 3 weeks ago, you think he's ready now? That just doesn't make any sense.
No, I don't think
this is a knee-jerk
but Trubisky
overreaction to...
But he's honestly, Scott, he's awful. And, that offensive coordinator should be fucking hooked and thrown out.
He should have been hooked last year. I'm
sure he still thinks he's got the rapist in there.
If he's better than Trubisky, start the season with him. He didn't gain anything in 3 weeks to make him ready for an NFL, and that's good. And it jumpstart his Hall of Fame career. That's a
2-0 to Newcastle, Scott. Sorry, not Scott. Carl, 2-0, just gone in. It just, I don't know what these GMs and owners thinking is. Let's bring Mitchell in. He's a good QB. He was just in the shit system before.
Well, they're thinking they don't want to rush. But that's what you're doing right now. I don't know.
Who's the number 3? Is it still Quack Hodges?
I don't think he's on. I have no idea. What they want to turn? If it doesn't work? If it doesn't work with Kenny Pickett, they turn to the overcooked duck.
I just wondered what they'll do because you can't go back.
Rudolph, is he still there?
Oh, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer might still be there. But either way.
Oh, Rudolph, yeah. I think he is still there. Mason Rudolph, I think he's still there. He might be.
It's looking shocking for the Steelers. It is looking shocking.
Their stretch now looks...
Mike Tomlin doesn't look like a genius now that he doesn't have a Hall of Fame quarterback. That's odd.
But Big Ben has been shit for the last 2 or 3 years.
Oh, he's been awful.
Trubisky.
Well, yeah. I mean, I can't exactly argue with that one.
And
Ben Roethlisberger must be
last year to the playoffs and
Roethlisberger must be sitting there somewhere, allegedly still getting off of rape charges, pissing himself laughing.
Mike Tomlin to me is probably top 3 most overrated coaches in the NFL, and he's going to get exposed now that he doesn't have a good quarterback. Just that he is really not this genius that everybody claims.
It's going to be it will definitely be interesting to see if the natives do get restless and who it comes down to.
The Yinzers, of course, are going to get restless.
They got to be in shock right now. I mean, they've had winning teams forever. Now they're 1-3, and you just lost at home to the Jets.
It's a shock to the system.
That's the funny thing.
They haven't quite got to grips with it. The Steelers with this regression now and this now change of the system and how it's all now flipping over. They were the kings of the AFC North. They were a threat in the AFC. Now you're back to you're going back to the 80s. You're going back to when you were fucking disgraceful.
Yeah, right. Come back down to earth, Steelers, because this is going to be a rough fucking ride.
Yeah,
period.
And if here's my hierarchy. My top 5 hated teams. Number 1's Raiders. Number 2's the Steelers. Number 3's the Broncos. Number 4's the Ravens. And number 5, I'm sorry, Carl, is the Patriots. So as someone who has the Steelers in their top 2 most hated teams, I'm just this season is just getting better and better for me. Broncos, Steelers, Raiders, all sucking. Can't get any better than that.
But let's ride. Just remember that.
But let's ride
Let's
the parking lot
ride.
with the game not even over
Fuck's sake.
Chargers versus the Brownies. For me,
Ooh.
Justin Herbert, the end. Simple. Chargers.
Okay.
Carl?
I'm going to go with the Chargers. Only just. Really only just. I think what I don't get with the Browns is they blew away a typically easy game against the Jets. And then last week they go and stink it up against the Falcons. I can't put a gauge on this team. But
the
I
Falcons
think
are not that bad.
so we now all think.
I mean, they're not.
So yeah, I'm going to take the Chargers. I'll take the Chargers to win.
Scott?
I
I know you're going to pick, obviously, but I was being nice to you and asking you just to confirm your pick.
Didn't the Browns whip the shit out of the Chargers last year? They rushed for like 300 yards or something on them.
I couldn't tell you. Sorry.
I don't know how healthy Justin Herbert is, but nah, I just can't. I can't pick. I gotta pick the Chargers. I can't pick the Browns.
Can't pick them. I'm actually finding it hard to pick a shit bowl so far going through these games. I'm sure one will come up soon. Texans versus London's own Jaguars the week before they come over and play in London. 0-3-1 versus 2-2. Scott, what do you reckon?
Jags all day.
Texans looked a bit frisky in patches, but I think their defense. Well, fuck it, the whole team's an issue. But Davis Mills, he flashes to be a really good quarterback. And, he does get let down a lot. But fuck it, Jags. Carl?
I'm taking Jags. I think Trevor Lawrence will have a bounce back game. I actually watched the highlights of the game of how many fumbles he had. That was just basically gripping the ball. He didn't really fumble it in the way you would fumble the ball usually. He just tried to run with the ball and it slipped out of his hands. It was atrocious conditions against the Eagles.
Wasn't that a record amount?
What are you doing?
Wasn't that a record amount of fumbles or something I saw somewhere that they said that it was? I don't know.
Now, see, when you're holding the ball like that, you can't really get it ready to throw real easily. But if you got it in both hands and you're running, all you got to do is.
Yeah, but I
couldn't believe the guy. I mean, he pissed the game away against the Eagles with all the turnovers. They would have won that game. Otherwise. 2
very interesting games coming up for different reasons. I am going to be on Chocotron 5000 watch against the Bears.
The Bears.
2-2, the Bears versus 3-1 Chocotron 5000s. Now,
Justin Fields is awful.
He is, but again, it's
week 5 and he hasn't completed 20 passes yet.
This to me has a Chocotron 5000 written all over it. As badly as Justin Fields has been.
No,
this could be the Chocotron 5000 special where he stinks it up.
Real quick, do you guys ever watch Gridiron Heights?
Yes.
No.
Did you watch this week's? where they're at the
I haven't had a chance.
Lamar Jackson's trying to like win a prize, and he keeps beating all the carnival games, and they won't give him the prize. Right? They're making fun of him not getting a contract, and then Kirk Cousins comes walking by, and he's got all these prizes. He goes, "I keep losing, and they keep giving me prizes."
That's what happened in Washington for all those years. So yeah, terrible.
Oh dear.
So funny.
I can't pick this one at the moment. I might have to go tactical. Carl, Bears.
Come on.
Vikings.
Right. There's two reasons of this game why I think this is upset alert. Why I think this is a trap game, okay? First of all, okay, the Bears, they've got to get going at some point. They can't continue to play this shitty. They just can't. You've had 4 weeks now, so now you've got to really start kicking on, okay? Number two, this is actually quite important. Every time two teams go over to London to play a game, the following week is usually when they have a bye. This is the first time in NFL history where a team that's gone over to London has flown back and has had to play again the following week. Jet lag. Is that going to be a key factor in this at all?
I think you're making excuses for a Chocotron 5000.
They
In
did give
Washington.
him a bye. They did give him a bye, Carl. They get to play the Bears.
Well, yeah, there is that, right?
That's better
So
than a bye.
I'm torn here thinking that the Vikings, they might just be, I don't know, they just might be a little bit sluggish in this game.
No
But
way.
since Nick is making me fucking choose first, I'm actually going to go against the grain here. I'm going to choose the Vikings. So everything I just said is bullshit.
Yeah,
That's
scrap
going with
that.
the grind, isn't it?
That's 2 minutes of our lives we're not getting back, Scott, having to listen to that bullshit, and then he picks against or picks for the team he tried to then make.
We lost 3.5 hours watching that shit show Thursday night. What's your point?
I didn't. I was fast asleep. I chose right. And I'm so tempted.
The local news people in Denver that were covering that game, they were like they did like an apology to the fans for that to watch that game. It's so funny.
The fans should have got. Go on.
I'm not going to pick the Bears to win another game all year. They're terrible.
Given the
Fields,
choice,
I'm so disappointed in that. I thought he was the best quarterback in that draft. I was
given the choice,
and he's
do I watch?
Terrible.
Do I watch Thursday night football? Do I watch a game in 40 just to see how shit it was, or do I watch the highlights?
Just watch the
of
highlights.
about 5 minutes.
It was about.
No, but I love Russie Wussy being shit.
Go online and watch some midget wrestling, and that's about what it was. And you'll get you can watch a couple of midget wrestling matches that last about 20 or 30 minutes, and that's exactly why you.
I mean, I must admit, Old Father Time versus the Cornball doesn't sound like my idea of fun at the best of times. So, who are you picking, Scott?
Vikings. I'm not picking the Bears at all the rest of the year. They suck.
Do you know what? I can't pick, and I wanted Justin Fields so badly. I wanted Justin Fields at the Niners so badly, and it will be interesting to see if he ever goes to a team that use him at his strengths, if he can be any good. Walmart and Amazon love the NFL at the moment. Would you say that's the case out in the States, Scott?
You know what? They had a stinker, but the first 3 Thursday night games were pretty good. They had Chargers.
Oh no!
Chiefs.
Oh no! Something of Amazon. I heard. I think it was on one of the shows I watched on yesterday, and it was Amazon Prime. Amazon was actually going to give out their customers free Amazon Prime delivery the very next day if you could prove with a receipt that you watched the Broncos and the Colts game from start to finish.
That's terrible.
One
quick question.
That Dolphins-Bengals game was good. The Chiefs-Chargers game was pretty good. I mean, they started off hot. You're not going to get all. I mean, you're not going to get all classics for 17 weeks. This is.
Just a quick question, obviously from watching the Niners Monday Night Football. Have Troy Buck and Aikman moved networks and they're only doing ESPN games? Or was that
Yep.
They have, right.
Monday Night Football.
It's actually more entertaining, to be honest.
It's good that you don't have to hear them for 18 weeks. I must admit, you only hear it. But yeah, I just wondered because, I mean, I haven't caught a Romo game yet this year to see if he's
good.
Still as entertaining as he was.
Yeah.
Is he still with the same guy?
Yeah. He's still with that little twerp Jim Nance who irritates shit out of me. But
that little twerp.
Jim Nance.
I can ignore him. Tony Romo.
Hey, Jim Nance is all right. He's all right. It's better than Troy Aikman, and he's better than Joe Buck. Yeah. I still can't understand why, for the life of me, you do not have Kevin. Harlan. The guy is drunk, but there he goes. Him
Kevin
Harlan as a main guy for one of the networks, because apparently he was doing the.
He's the main guy for CBS.
He was doing the. I'm guessing it was.
He just doesn't. He's not on ESPN or on NBC, so he doesn't get Sunday Night Football or Monday Night Football. But he usually gets like the top game of the week for CBS, whatever they determine is like.
He did the comment. He was doing maybe Westwood One radio.
He does radio too
on the 49ers when that, and I didn't even notice that there'd been he wasn't a streaker, but some guy had come on with a purple flare during the game, and I can't remember. I heard it on the Around the NFL podcast. They actually played because, of course, he's famous for, oh no, somebody's got out on the field. He's at the 30. He's at the thing. He's taking his shirt off. The guy is drunk, but there he goes. So he was famous for that one, and he did another equivalent with some guy who came on, and then Bobby Wagner tackled the guy, and he had a flare or something. But
did you see that guy suing Bobby Wagner for that? By the way,
yeah, he is.
Really?
He put in a police report for him.
I was just wondering how long.
Good luck with that.
Like these players think that they've just got free reign to go out and lay these people out. I've just been waiting for years until. I'm not saying he's going to win, but if I'm a player, I'm letting security handle that. I'm not even taking the chance.
No, but the thing is, security seem to let these people run around for ages before they go, oh, shit, someone's on the field.
Right, the security guards a lot of times aren't as good. I mean, I could outrun and juke. And
the other funny thing as well is they're in street clothes and street shoes. They don't have cleats or anything on. So it's like a shit show because guarantee if someone makes a quick cut, they're going to fall over because they don't have appropriate footwear on, which is always funny when a steward falls over. But anyway.
What a tool. What a tool. You run onto a football field with a smoke bomb and some shirt for some animal rights BS, and then an NFL player takes you out, and now you're suing them. What a bitch.
But unfortunately, that's the culture we live in, unfortunately.
Especially in San Francisco.
Exactly. And that's what the call was. It was like so-and-so, so-and-so, so-and-so. And he goes, and Bobby Wagner's taking him down. And he won't see the rest of the game. He's going to end up in the slammer.
Right, yeah, he's going to the slammer.
The slammer is what
a loser.
We need more slammers.
And less losers like that guy.
Lions at the Patriots. Lions were frisky last week. Yes, it was kind of a garbage time affair comeback. But they're frisky. They are frisky. I'm going with obviously I'm going with the Lions. They're my boys. The Lions. Scott?
Do the Lions have the number 1 offense and the number 32 defense?
Yes, they do.
That almost seems like you should get You should make the playoffs just for accomplishing that. That's got to be next to impossible to do. That's got to be harder to do than winning the Super Bowl.
That's a big swing, right? That is a big swing to have the most potent offense and the shittest defense with one of the best players on the defensive line that has come out in a while, in a couple of years since Bosa.
Yeah, I don't think Patriots look pretty dreadful this year. They don't look good.
And what was it you said? They picked a guy off the street to come and play quarterback.
Yeah, I
style.
think they ran an in-game contest and just did the fan cam and picked someone out of the crowd to come in and play after Hoyer got hurt. I'm picking the Lions.
It was like the equivalent of Kiss Cam, but they were that desperate that they had to do QB Cam and pick some schmo out the crowd. That's good. Carl, now, we all know you're a big Patriots fan. You've got the jersey on. You've got someone who I've never even heard of at QB, Brian Hoyer.
Okay.
Who knows? Who knows who could play? It could, they could even give Scott a call and say, look, we're in the shit. Can you take off your McDonald's uniform and come and play for the Patriots this week? Are you confident in your team? Or is it going to be a clean sweep?
I am, because I think the Lions, offensively, they can put points on you. But they don't have DeAndre Swift. Amon Ross Brown is questionable. They've also got a couple of receivers out as well as. So they are a little bit banged up right now on the offensive side of the ball. Defensively, they are atrocious. They cannot stop the run. New England are going to play situational football all game long, which means it's going to be a lot of running by Damian Harris. It's going to be a lot of running by Ramondre Stevenson. They're going to pound the rock all day long. They're only going to make Bailey Zappi play when they actually need him to. Game managing, basically. Everyone.
Sorry, what was his name? Sorry,
Bailey Zappi. He was a 4th round. I don't see how that is funny at all.
Sorry. To be fair, I've never even heard of the guy, and that's the first time I've ever heard his name. All I knew is Hoyer was out.
Where
and some
did he go to
geezer
college
came in.
at?
Western Kentucky. Apparently, he broke every single college record
Bone in his body?
for a quarterback in the
sorry.
FBS. In the FBS, I think he threw like 62 touchdowns last season for Western Kentucky. He was a 4th round pick that we took. Apparently, he's got very good decision making. He has a much more of a stronger arm on him than Mac Jones has. But I'm not going to expect too much of him. This is going to be a running game and a defensive side of the ball, which, by the way, this will be the first game this season Detroit will actually go up against a proper, legitimate defense. So bearing that in mind. Yes, they have played the Eagles, but that was the first game of the season. You have to take, it's always going to be dodgy. New England's defense played well last week to contain Aaron Rodgers as much as you can. And also, we have a new corner by the name of Jack Jones, who managed to get a pick 6 off Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has thrown 3 pick 6s in his entire career. So if
hang on a minute, isn't Jack Jones a clothing brand?
He's also a DJ as well, but I digress.
Just saying.
He's a clothing brand and a DJ as well. So
he's Mac Jones' brother.
He's multi-tart. He might.
You see now you haven't convinced me. You haven't convinced me to flip my pick.
I've got.
But you believe. That's all. As long as you believe. That's all that matters, Carl.
He's going to do like he did with the Vikings and give us a 3-minute talk about why they can win and then pick them to lose.
No, yeah, exactly. I penciled this in as New England to win, so I'm not backing out for it. And also, one last point as well: we bring back our throwback stuff. Our throwback jerseys and helmet is back.
I did see Pat the Patriots gear.
Pat the Patriots back.
And what was your QB's name again?
Much better than what they have. Let's just go back to that.
I do like the kit. I do like the kit.
Oh, it looks
I really do. It was nice.
Sorry, can you just?
That's a killer.
So you're going Patriots, right?
Oh!
what's the QB's name again? Because I need another laugh. Bradley Zappi.
Bailey Zappi.
Bailey Zappi. Fucking hell.
I think he was in the funnies, wasn't he? Beetle Bailey Zappley or something in the cartoon.
He sounds like he should be in the fucking Brady Bunch. I don't know about anything else. Holy shit!
The fifth Beetle.
He's basically Mac. He's basically Mac Jones, but he's not Mac Jones.
The sixth Backstreet Boy.
There you go. Or In Sync. Could have been In Sync. Who knows? Right. Well, we all know where I'm picking this next one, so this is down to you two guys. Sea Chickens at the Saints. Ginger Assassin, bring it on. Carl.
I'm going to take Seattle. I think Seattle's offense is going to cause them problems.
I'm just warming my voice up because somehow I think it's coming. Hang on a minute. I think it's coming. I'm ready for it, Scott. Hit me.
Yeah, I'm picking Seattle. The Saints do not look good.
Let's go, Ginger Assassin. Just do it for me. Do it for me. You know you can do it. Now, this next one is a kind of, could be a shit bowl. Could be a shit bowl, or it could be a sneaky good game. The Tourless Dolphins at the Jets. Jets. Who's the Dolphins QB, Carl? Has he got a funky name? Has he got a funky name like your geezer?
It's Teddy Bridgewater.
Right, okay. And to me, Jets. Next. Scott.
Dolphins. Teddy Bridgewater's not that bad.
Yeah, I don't pick
Teddy Two Gloves.
Yeah, I don't pick the butt fumble. So, Nick, off you go.
Jets are coming, baby. Jets are coming. Nah. This is another old Father Time game, and a lot of people are speculating that it's going to be Tom Brady's last season. And am I right to believe in some of the sort of alleged stories I've seen that Brady and Giselle are...
They've hired divorce lawyers. Yeah. What it looks like.
And that's why he wasn't in training camp or whatever it was. That would be an interesting divorce settlement because he was famous before her, but she earns more money than he does. And probably has done for quite a few years because he was always taking pay cuts at the Patriots. Falcons, not sold on them. I'm really not. Arthur Smith, he's doing a reasonable job. Not Jameis Winston, it's the other one of it, Marcus Mariota. Gets this defense. Nah, I'm taking the Bucks. Carl.
There's one person you don't play against after a loss, and that's Tom Brady. He's going to be pissed off. Careful what you ask for, Buccaneers.
Scott?
Yeah, Bucks.
Cool. I don't think... Well, there may be this next game may be a bit of a lone wolf scenario. The Titans and the Commanders. Is anyone the Commanders? And Carson went home early because he's dog shit.
Carson Wentz?
Winks. He winks because he can't fucking... He keeps flinching every time.
Now there's another...
I wince every time I have to watch him play.
There's another guy, right, who is going to cost Riverboat Ronnie's job. Because already murmurs now are Riverboat...
He's not that good of a coach.
is a week-to-week guy, but he came in.
He had a couple good years when Cam Newton was MVP level Cam Newton, and other than that, he sucked as a coach. His teams have not been good. He's overrated. Not that good of a coach.
Okay. Anyone taking the Commanders?
Nah.
Next one.
Quick one, Nick. Did you make a pick on the Bears-Vikings game, or are you still... I'm in an hour.
No, I said Vikings, unfortunately.
Okay, sorry, I misheard you. Okay, carry on.
I wanted to push it. I really did. But yeah, the Bears are shocking. But I don't care if the Bears win, because it will just mean a Chocotron 5000 has come right again.
If the Bears win, we don't. If the Bears win, we don't know if we can take the Vikings seriously or not.
No, exactly. Eagles versus the Tards. We all know. Even though the Eagles, I still think are a bit fraudulent and again haven't really been found out. I can't pick the Cardinals. I can't.
No.
Eagles for me.
Eagles.
Yeah, Philadelphia. But Jalen Hurts is. How ironic is it? Jalen Hurts, throughout his entire college career, he got shunted backwards and forwards between programs, got no stability in whatsoever. He comes to the NFL, gets drafted by Philadelphia, and within about 2 to 3 years, he's now got the stability. He's actually now playing like a really, really good quarterback.
Yeah, he's been pretty good. I'm still not sold on him as like an upper echelon passer. I think his running ability, he's living off that a little bit, which fades. But hey, right now it's not going to fade this week. He's going to be good this. So
Eagles right now are looking very good. But
yeah,
we'll find out come playoff time. We'll find out.
Come on, Chiefs Eagles Super Bowl, Andy Reid Bowl, man. That'd be a classic right there.
Ooh,
not going to happen. I'm pushing this next one because I can't fucking stand either of them. But
oh god,
you two choose. I'm going to lone wolf it probably. I can't pick. Cowboys versus those same sorry ass Rams. Who got schooled last week? And one play, you only heard Aaron Donald's name once. Going up against a shit O-line in San Francisco. And the one time some idiot missed his blocking assignment, he nearly killed Jimmy G.
Jimmy Garoppolo, yeah. It just literally missed it, and Aaron Donald just went through. I was like...
I mean, that thing... I was like, when I saw it live before they showed it, I'm like, who the fuck's picking this guy up? Because he literally, and how Jimmy managed to get the ball out amazed me. But yeah, the same sorry-arsed Rams versus the shit boys, and it could be the return of the Chocotron 6000.
You mean Prescott?
He ain't playing.
He ain't playing.
Jerry wants a QB contract.
He isn't playing.
He's been trying to stay. Is he not? Oh,
no, he's not. He's not playing this week. I know that because he's in my fantasy bench and it says he's out.
Yep, he's out.
So, again, they've been doing really well with Cooper Rush.
He's undefeated. You can't knock him. He's playing solid, and that's all you need right now.
It's gonna, I mean, unfortunately, as much as I'd love to watch that shit show, I'm going to be watching the Niners. So I can't. I might split screen it, who knows, just to have a laugh. I can't pick, as you know, because I hate them both. So it's down to
you're going tie. So you tie him, basically.
I'm tying. So I am lone wolfing. But hang on, let me lone wolf, and then you two say who's going to win.
No.
Unless one of you's going for a tie.
If Carl picks the Rams and I pick the Cowboys, that'd be all.
We all lone wolf.
So that doesn't count.
That would be good. Yeah, let's do that. Let's have a triple threat lone wolf. Can anyone see the Rams winning this game?
Scott, I'll leave that one to you because I've already made my choice.
I mean, I can see them winning. I don't think they're terrible, and
but they were exposed last week.
I keep waiting for Cooper Rush, Cinderella, to turn back into a pumpkin, but the guy's played pretty well.
He will in a couple of weeks.
And the Cowboys defense is pretty good. The Rams, I don't know what to think of that team. They looked okay, and then they got waxed by the Bills, but that was week 1. The Bills are healthy and ready to go and Super Bowl contenders, so there's no shame in that on the road. But they've won a couple games. I was surprised. I was surprised they lost to the Niners. Everybody kept saying the Niners kicked their ass. That was a close game, and the 49ers got a pick 6 that basically swung it.
No,
late.
it wasn't. Trust me, it was not.
That was
close.
not an ass kicking. That was a close game.
I'm not saying it was an ass kicking, but it wasn't close.
Yes, most people I see on TV or on shows talking about it was an ass whooping.
The pick 6 definitely finished the game off. But that defense was swarming.
They were
all over Stafford. He didn't know what day it was, and it was dominant. From that side of it, yes, I would say it was an arse kicking based purely on that defensive play. And the offense just did enough, and then the defense iced the game.
Right. But the Rams' defense was stifling the 49ers. It wasn't like the 49ers were running the ball and moving it up.
Yeah, but they're not going to. But to be honest, with Jimmy G, they're not going to be. And he did make some great throws.
He did.
And I mean, Deebo Samuel, I've seen people comparing him to Jerry Rice. The fuck out of here with that.
Nah, Jerry Rice
There's
is
no way,
Rice
right?
is
There's no way. Deebo Samuel is a gadget guy. He's a yak guy. He's not going to be. He's not stretching the field like Rice.
No, Jerry Rice is the GOAT. There's no.
Yeah.
And people debate about who's the GOAT at quarterback or running back or defensive end or whatever. Also, there's no argument about wide receiver. Jerry Rice.
There never will. And you know what? I don't think
shoulders above anybody else as far as it.
I don't think there ever will be. I mean, Randy Moss was very, very good. Very, very good.
Right.
But
Randy's
again,
Jerry's up here though.
Yeah, he's no T.O.
Don't look at Jerry Rice's Super Bowl records. He's got like a good season worth of stats for a receiver just in Super Bowl games. It's crazy.
I mean, there's a video that I watch quite a lot of all of his 49er touchdowns, and some of them you're like, the fuck did he catch that? He's not wide open. He's blanket covered, and he catches the fucking thing.
And Jerry Rice played back in the days when teams were allowed to play defense and all the rules weren't slanted towards offenses. He was the man. Jerry Rice.
And on a surface that basically was a concrete floor with a little bit of green over it.
Yeah. But anyway, I got off topic a little bit there. I'm picking the Cowboys.
You did.
I was hoping you picked the Rams. Fuck it. I am taking Dallas. So that lone wolf that Nick's got is still.
But I do, and again, I couldn't give a shit about either of these teams. But if they go 2-3, I love it. I love it. The Rams.
I just the Cowboys right now. They're in. Mock them all you want, but right now the Cowboys are actually playing decently. They're actually playing well. They're running the ball very well. Cooper Rush ain't turning the ball over and making mistakes. The defense is shutting out. Micah Parsons is a fucking beast.
We'll still kick their ass again in the NFC Championship game. So I wouldn't worry about. I wouldn't worry about the Cowgirls.
I was a little bit worried about my Super Bowl pick with the Cowboys when Dak went down, but it's still alive. Chiefs Cowboys, get ready.
Oh dear.
No, because Trent Williams will be walking out going like that again to the Dallas faithful. Bungles versus Ravens. 2-2 versus 2-2. I'm going with the Bungles. I saw that game last week with the Ravens, and I'm not buying the Ravens.
You know what?
I'm sorry, I'm not buying them. I'm not buying them.
the referees kept the Bills in the first half of that game. That was absolutely pathetic. The penalties they were calling on the Ravens in that first half. That game should have been 27-0 at one point. But they kept moving the Ravens back. Once the Ravens got up 17, 20-0 or 20-3, that game should have been 24, 27-3 at halftime and been over. That was pathetic. And then Jim Harbaugh,
are you buying the Ravens then, Scott?
I don't know if I'm buying them for like winning the Super Bowl, but I think they're a playoff team. And Lamar Jackson, what a fucking stupid play call by Jim Harbaugh at the end of the game. What are you doing, man? Like, kick the field goal and take the lead. And people
they were home as well.
Now it's a game of probabilities and analytics, and that's what these people look at now. Yes, take the points, but it left enough time on the clock. It left this, that, the other, and all these possibilities that he thought going for it. And that throw was fucking atrocious.
Right. And
it wasn't a great throw.
That roughing the passer on Josh Allen was such a bullshit.
That was not roughing the passer.
Yeah, that wasn't good.
That was not roughing the passer. Fucking hell.
Oh, give me a break, man. He barely bumped into the guy. He tried to hold him up as he was going to the ground, it looked like. Give me a break. Josh Allen's a fucking baby. That guy is a cry baby. He's sitting on the field, hitting his. I want the Pickem penalty now. I want it now. He looks like a fucking kid at the grocery store when his mom said he couldn't have a candy bar. What a bitch.
Carl, Scott is turning in to one of those little wind-up toys that you get that, you know, he's getting slow and then you just wind him up and he's like the Duracell bunny on acid.
He was sitting on the ground beating on the field with his fist. He looked like do you know what? I still don't buy the Ravens. But anyway,
I don't buy the Ravens.
Okay, so who are you picking? Right,
I'm picking the Ravens. I'm picking the Ravens.
You're picking the Ravens.
I don't buy them. I do not buy them.
They should have beat the Bills.
But they didn't. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. If my grandma had balls, she'd be my granddad. She isn't.
The referees weren't in love with Josh Allen and the Bills, and Jim Harbaugh wasn't a moron at the end of the game. They win that game.
Oh, God.
And the Bengals haven't looked very good. Who the Bengals beaten this year that's any good? Nobody.
Well, they won 2.
I know.
In order for me to say top of the Pickem league, I still have to go what Scott does. So I'm actually going to go with the Ravens. So Nick, you can lone wolf this.
One of these fuckers is coming right. One of these is coming right this week.
It's tactical. I have to.
Right. Did you say who you or me? Or did you say who's leading just now?
I'm leading you by a point, so I've got to be very careful.
Oh. Hello?
Hello? What's happened?
I don't know.
Oh, no. We lost him.
We're still live and he's kicked himself. Oh, he's back.
Why have you kicked yourself
I don't know
out?
what happened there. I don't know. That was really
I don't know
strange.
what happened. Carl blinked
Everything
out.
went. My whole screen went.
And then,
that was weird.
It said something went wrong. Retry, and I must have lost my internet connection for a moment.
Raiders, Chiefs. We all know which way I'm going, and we all know which way Mr. Smug's going. And I'm pretty sure not even Carl on a wind-up can pick the Raiders. He can't.
No, I want Josh McDaniels back as our offensive coordinator. The sooner the Raiders go 1-9, the better. So yeah, give me the Chiefs. This is sweet.
Coming. 49ers, Panthers. Anyone picking the Panthers? And Baker Mayfield.
I'm picking the 49ers every game the rest of the season, Nick. So
no, you're not. I'll cut you off. I'll bleep Carl. Carl, we got to get a dump button or a bleep button for when the 49ers are on, so he doesn't fuck things up.
I cannot pick the 49ers right ever. Every time I pick them to win, they lose, and every time I pick them to lose, they win. Every time.
They're not going to lose to the Panthers.
No,
I'll be
I don't
fucking
think they
shocked
lose
if
to the
they lose to the Panthers.
I'm going 49ers.
Oh. Brentford
Don't.
have just got a goal back against Newcastle, a penalty. Sorry, Carl. Who are you
That's
picking?
all right. No, I had the both teams to score, so that's fine.
Oh, even better. Who are you picking?
I'm taking Niners.
Oh, yeah.
The Panthers are the 49ers defense are going to turn into an army of taxidermists and pluck and stuff the Panthers. So it's
clog up those passing lanes so Baker can't see. He's gonna he is gonna get McCaffrey. I reckon he is gonna get sacked 5 times, and McCaffrey is gonna be under 50 yards all purpose.
Oh, that's a bit of a
yeah, I know.
I don't like the 50-yard one for McCaffrey. I think if you hold him to 80 yards, I think you do win this game regardless.
They give him the ball 50 times a game, so he's going to get at least 50 yards. I mean, that's the whole team.
Not necessarily against the defense. They could, hold him to half a yard average rushing.
I tell you what, if I was the Panthers, what I would do is I would just counter that defensive line and that defense by screen passes and quick passes going across the middle. That's what I would do.
Trouble is, sideline to sideline, the Niners D is still very good. Yeah. And it'll be interesting. But I think they're going to win by at least 14.
Baker Mayfield, is this his last game as a starting quarterback?
It will be
pretty much.
It will be. If he unless he throws a pick 6 at any point in the game, then he gets benched, and then comes Sam Darnold, which is pretty much which is not an upgrade. That's not even an upgrade or a downgrade. It's still the same. They've got the same tier of quarterback. And then they got Matt Corral, who is a rookie, who's not ready to play yet. And then you got, fucking hell, who's the quarterback that played in the XFL? I don't know. I can't remember who it is now. But anyway, I think it's PJ.
Yeah.
Is it PJ Tucker? It might be PJ Tucker. He wished he was back
playing
for the Houston Rockets.
Sounds like a country and western singer. That does. PJ Tucker.
PJ Tucker.
Dueling banjos. Newcastle just got a third, by the way.
Right. Shit, I got that one wrong.
It's time to get out of here. We're going to wrap it up. Carl, let everyone know where they can find you, what your final thoughts are, and all the usual jazz.
Yep, you can find me on Twitter at KBSports31. You can find me on my YouTube channel, which is KB Sports, talk a lot about the New England Patriots and Arsenal FC as well. I have a live stream coming up tomorrow at 4:20 UK time. Arsenal take on Liverpool, so that is a live stream that I'll be doing. So live watch along, so make sure you tune in for that. And you'll also find me as the host for the Patriots Touchback podcast. We will be back either on Tuesday or Wednesday for a review of hopefully New England taming the Lions. So hit us up on that, and have a good weekend and have a good time watching the NFL this week.
And the good thing for me as well is today I can fall asleep watching Brighton Tottenham. I don't have to watch college to fall asleep to. And last week's game, I can't remember what I ended up watching, but it wasn't very good. It's quite boring, actually. And I don't know, I just can't get into college. Just can't get into it. But there you go. Mr. Smug, tell everyone where they can find you, follow you, what podcasts you do, etc., etc.
And you just go to YouTube and search Chiefs Kingdom Live. And that's us. That's me and Nick and Bo. Bo Selecta. I have to look that up after the show here.
Trust me. You'll come back next week and go, what the fuck have I seen? It's hilarious, but what the fuck have I watched?
I will check that out. Chiefs look like they are back on a roll. Just smoked the number 1 scoring defense in the NFL.
But don't worry, a couple of weeks they're going to come up against. They're going to come up in a few weeks. They'll come up against the proper number 1 defense. Yeah, so just bear that in mind.
Patrick Mahomes has played the number 1 scoring defense 7 times in his career. He's 6-1 with over 30 points a game scored and over 300 yards passing per game against the number 1 defenses in the league. So
And the offensive line are 35-1 on choke holds against defensive linemen.
There you go.
It's hard.
But,
it's difficult.
I'm looking forward. I'm going to be at the game Monday night against the Raiders.
Nice. Nice.
You see right there.
Yeah.
Raider
as always.
Week.
It's been a great show, guys. Let's see who comes out on top, if anyone comes out on top with some lone wolves. It's going to be an interesting weekend. Obviously, if you're into Grand Prix, you've got that tomorrow morning. You've then got the NFL at 2:30 UK time, and all the other games going on. Brighton playing Tottenham Hotspurs, 5:30.
Come on, Brighton. Come on, Brighton. Come on, Brighton. Fuck Tottenham.
Obviously. I'm Nick. Jimmy G feels great, baby. The average Bo selector, thanks for joining in. Thanks, 49er girl. Thanks for everyone else that's been in the chat. My name's Nick. This has been the Shank Club. We will catch you again next week. Stay safe. Take care.